Hey guys, welcome back to the Always Football Podcast. My name is Cameron, and alongside me is my co-host Alex. Alex, how you doing today, man?
I'm a little tired, but I am very excited to talk some football. So
Hey, you know what? Me too, Alex. I more on the talking football side than tired. I'm pretty awake myself, but I'm very excited to talk football. We've had three amazing weeks this season, and we're going to a fourth one that looks like it's not going to disappoint. Um, But you know what? I'm just going to jump right into it. The first game we're going to bring up is Titans Jets game. Looking Zach Wilson's looking to get on his feet. Zach Wilson's looking to turn things around, and he's working good. He's working hard, but his team around him is just not playing good football. And this Titans team, they're looking good. After their Week 1 loss, they've started to look better and better. And I think as the season goes on, this team's going to continue to grow. But Alex, my question is, who do you got, Titans or Jets?
yeah, Cameron, I'm going to take the Titans here. Even though the Titans are going to be without AJ Brown and Julio, I think that Derrick Henry alone is kind of a better playmaker than the entire Jets offense. Zach Wilson obviously hasn't had much help at all this year, so it could be a sneaky upset week. But I'm going to take the Titans for this one.
For me, I have to agree with you. The Titans. Listen, I was going to bring up the same exact thing. Julio Jones and AJ Brown are missing, and for me, this could be a game time decision. Like for me, I might in the morning tomorrow when I wake up sit there and go, hey, I'm actually going to switch it to the Jets because I can see the Jets upsetting this Titans team. But like you said, Derrick Henry's a powerhouse, and this offense for the Jets and defense for the Jets, it's not really working. Nothing's clicking with Zach Wilson. It's just been a struggle bus for this team. So I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with the Titans. Moving on to the next game. Usually when you bring up some of the worst teams in the league, their games aren't that entertaining unless they're playing each other, and that's a situation here. We got the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. Listen, Chicago Bears, it's a game time decision who they're going to start. Any of those three guys. Nick Foles could start for this Bears team. So there's a lot of excitement there. And then this Lions team, they came close, so close, so many times. They played good football all season, but they just keep falling short. Alex, who is winning this football game?
I'm going to take the Lions. They really impressed me last week, and they've impressed me all season long. They just came up on the short end of the stick last week, obviously, against the Ravens. Justin Tucker hit a ridiculous 66-yard field goal, setting an NFL record. I mean, come on, you can't get more unlucky than that. So I'm going to take the Lions. I think that they've got a good football team, and they got a lot of passion, so it's going to lead them to a victory.
Yeah, Alex, you know what? I'm going to have to agree with you again. Listen, this Lions team, I love them. I love this Lions team. I love Jared Goff. I love the coach there. I love the atmosphere. I love the Detroit fans enjoying watching football again is what it seems like it's starting to turn into. Like you brought up, a game-winning field goal, 66 yards, but you held Lamar Jackson all game. This team looks really good, and they're about to play a Bears team that just had 8 sacks allowed last game. So really, I think this defense is just going to tear up that offensive line, mess with Justin Fields, assuming he starts. I think it's going to be Justin Fields. Mess with the young guy, and I really think they're going to be able to get to a good pace. So I'm going to pick the Lions there over the Bears, just like you. Moving on to the next game, we got the Colts and we got the Dolphins. A little bit of a revenge game, but I don't think anybody expected this to be a revenge game. We are going to see Jacoby Brissett start for the Dolphins, I believe, against the Colts. So, this Dolphins team without their starting quarterback and this Colts team who has been struggling all season. Alex, what you thinking here? Who do we got?
Yeah, I'm going to pray for Peter's sake that the Colts win this one. I'm going to take the Colts. They just did lose to – they just lost Quentin Nelson, actually. They just put him on IR, so he's going to be out the next few weeks. But, yeah, they've started off really rough. This is a game that they've got to win. You got to win this game if you want to get on track and if you want to make a push, a late-season push for the playoffs, or a mid-season push, rather, for the playoffs. So definitely got to be a must-win game for the Colts, and for that reason, I'm going to take them.
I agree. It's a must-win game for the Colts. If the Colts lose this game, it's going to look really bad on their season. Unfortunately, I'm going to have them losing this game. I saw Jacoby Brissett and this Dolphins team get off to a really good start against the Raiders last week. Just unfortunately wasn't able to hold on as the game continued on. But really, I think this team is I think it's a good team still. And I think Jacoby Brissett isn't too much of a decline from Tua Tagovailoa. See as Tua slander or Jacoby Brissett praise. I just don't think it's too much of a decline at QB, and you still have a good team. You still have a good quarterback. You still have a good coach. You do still have a good quarterback, in my opinion. And, like you just brought up the injury to Quentin Nelson, that's going to be huge for this Colts team. The team just hasn't really looked like it's got his footing yet, and I don't think they're going to get it here against Miami. So I'm going to pick the Dolphins. Next game might be a game of the week, possibly the best 1 o'clock game. The Browns and the Vikings. This Vikings team 1-2, but don't let their record confuse you. They have been a very good football team this season. I believe lost in overtime week 1 and then lost by a missed field goal week 2 and then came up clutch against the Seahawks last week. This team has been very good. Kirk Cousins has been putting up great numbers, and he gets to play a Cleveland Browns team that was barely edged out by Patrick Mahomes. A Cleveland Browns team that has OBJ back on the field. A Cleveland Browns team that is insane, led by a superstar, Baker Mayfield. I will say that. I love Baker. I think he's top 10. So what are we thinking here, Alex? Browns or Vikings?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Browns here. Baker Mayfield and that offense came off, they looked good last week, obviously, and then the defense was just incredible. They racked up 11 sacks on the Bears. Justin Fields was, you could say it was more his fault that they sacked him 11 times, but they still got back there. They still generated a whole bunch of pressure. The secondary was incredible. Yes, Kirk Cousins has been playing at an MVP level this year, but I think that the Browns are a superior football team, more well-rounded, of course. And for that reason, I'm going to take the Browns. But that does not mean I don't think this is going to be a close game. It's going to be a heck of a game.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be an amazing game, but it's going to be in the Vikings' favor, Alex. This Vikings team is very good. And really, I guess for me, it really comes down to I think this could be another game-time decision for me where I switch it. For you guys that don't know, this is Saturday that we record this on. It comes out on Sunday. So as of now, the games, it's not like they're an hour away. Dalvin Cook, as of now, is listed as questionable. And if Dalvin Cook is going to miss, my pick might change. I might think the Browns could have this. But last week they played without Dalvin Cook and really shut down that Seahawks team. They looked amazing against the Seahawks. So really, I think this team could really compete with the Cleveland Browns. I think this team compete with a lot of the top guys in the NFL. So with that being said, if Dalvin Cook's out there, this should be an easy one for them. Without Dalvin Cook, I think it's still a competition. I'm going to pick the Vikings, though, over the Browns. Next game, Alex, your Atlanta Falcons coming off a big win, game-winning field goal against my division rival, New York Giants, to go against another NFC East team. You're going against the Washington football team. Football team looked good against the Giants, and then really, really struggled against Buffalo. Like we saw a huge decline in skill. Taylor just wasn't looking that great. So, Alex, what are we thinking? Who is winning, your Atlanta Falcons or this Washington football team?
Yeah, we did edge out the Giants last week, and it was very, at the very slightest of the margins. We only put up 17 points still. Offense still is pretty bad in my opinion. Still super low on my Falcons. I'm going to take Washington here. I think they bounce back. They've got a heck of a defense, and I don't think the Falcons have a capable offense to combat that defense. So I'm going to take Washington.
For me, I'm going to have to agree with you. Really, Washington, I think, is a good football team. They went against the Buffalo Bills, right? You go against the Buffalo Bills team, and it's a very, very hard team. But you're a team that competed with the Giants, and when they played the Giants, it was a competition. I think for this football team, y'all are around that same skill level where it's going to be a good competition. I can see the Falcons coming out on top, but I am going to have to go with Washington here, as much as I don't want to see a division rival win. I think it's going to happen. Texans, Bills. Now, I just brought up, we just watched the Bills blow the Washington football team out of water when they had to start their new quarterback. And David Mills, the rookie, quarterback, about to make his second start ever against Buffalo. So, what are we thinking, Alex? Can the Texans somehow, some way win this football game?
Absolutely not. I don't think for a second that Davis Mills can lead his team. He didn't look that bad last week, but I don't think he has enough, firepower around him in general to combat this Buffalo team. So I'm definitely gonna take Buffalo.
Yeah, I really feel like that's all you really have to say. Like, David Mills, he's a rookie, just came in, but what is he going to do against this Buffalo Bills team? I don't think he can do much. You got Brandon Cooks, and I hope he's airing it out the Cooks all game. Got that man on my fantasy team, and I'm trying to win. But really, like, I don't think it's much of a competition. This should be a easy win for the Bills back-to-back weeks. Next game, we got the Giants and we got the Saints. The Giants just came off a heartbreaking loss to continue their 0-3 season against the Atlanta Falcons on a missed field goal. And the New Orleans Saints have just been looking good all season. I mean, you can't lie. This team has definitely shocked the league, shocked a couple people. Didn't shock me. I knew this team would be good. But they've shocked a lot of people in this league. So, Alex, what are you thinking? Are we going Giants or are we going Saints?
Yeah, so I'm going to actually take the Giants here. This is going to be my upset of the week.
Man.
I do not like the Saints team. I think they're massively overrated. Jameis Winston has done just about what has been asked for of him. He's not thrown for many yards. He's just thrown for, thinking dumps, really. He's went over 200 passing yards in one of the 3 games. So, and the one that he did go over 200 passing yards was the game they lost. So, I don't think they're a very good team. I don't think they don't have a great offense. Alvin Kamara is obviously still there, but I have to see this Giants team win a game this season, and I think Daniel Jones has been really good. And I think this could be the game that he pulls one out for the Giants. So I'm going to take New York here.
Yeah, Alex, for me, really, I love this Saints team. I love this Saints team a lot. I can't see them losing. I agree. Daniel Jones has been a stud this season. Anybody that's watched him play would agree. But they're missing some guys. They're going to be missing some guys in that receiving core. And you got Marshawn Lattimore and Marcus Williams to go against in the defensive backs. Daniel Jones is just not going to be able to get anything done. I don't really think against this Saints team. You said Jameis Winston's doing just about what he needs to, and that's it. And if that's all he's doing, then they should be able to pull out a win here against New York without a problem. Moving on to the next game, we got a very competitive game. We got the Kansas City Chiefs going against the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts really struggled last week against the Dallas Cowboys. Big loss, and the Chiefs also lost to a division rival. Last second score. So both these guys are coming off losses. Both I think sitting at
1 and 2.
I think they're both sitting at 1 and 2. So yeah. So Alex, who's winning this game?
Yeah. So I just put my upset of the week. Well, I'm gonna jump on to my lock of the week for this one. There is no way that the Chiefs lose this one to Philadelphia. Philadelphia has looked like a below-average team, about what I'd expect from them since that Falcons game. They've looked like the team that I thought they were going to be since that Falcons game. And in all honesty, their offense is not there. Defense has been surprisingly pretty decent, but offense is not there, and that is not going to hold up against the Kansas City Chiefs team. They're going to put points on you, and the goal of playing the Chiefs is to keep up, and they're not going to be able to do that. So I'm going to take the Chiefs as my lock of the week.
Yeah, I think if you let the Dallas Cowboys come in and drop 41 on you, Patrick Mahomes should have no trouble doing the same. And you don't really have the offensive firepower to fight back. I agree that Chiefs defense has been rather weak this year, but realistically, I agree with you. It should be a lock. It shouldn't even be considered who could win this game. I got the Chiefs winning over the Eagles. I think that's all you got to say about it. Moving on, my Dallas Cowboys coming off a huge win, but they got to go against the 3-0 Panthers team. I've praised this team all season so far, Alex. You know I love them. I praise both these teams. I love them a lot. Alex, who is winning this football game?
Well, you've praised the Panthers, and I don't agree. And then you praised the Dallas Cowboys, and I do agree. So that should answer your question. I'm going to take your Dallas Cowboys. I don't think the Panthers are as good as their 3-0 record says. They've played a bunch of, there's just hasn't been much competition for them. So I think that this week they're going to finally be challenged, and it's going to be a tough game for them. Their defense is still going to be their defense, but the offense is not going to be the same. Dallas's defense has been much improved this year under Dan Quinn. I cannot say enough about what he's done. He's been awesome. I miss Dan Quinn as a Falcons fan already. So yeah, I'm definitely taking the Cowboys here. Carolina's they're gonna have a wake up call this week.
Yeah, listen, I hate to sound biased, and I hate to pick my own team. I really genuinely hate to pick my own team, but I really think right here there's just not. I really think the Cowboys should get this. You beat Justin Herbert, you held Justin Herbert, and now you have to go against Sam Darnold. Definitely a huge difference in QB play there. They're missing their number one guy in Christian McCaffrey. DJ Moore against Trayvon Diggs, I think will be a good matchup. But I think – okay, well, I'm sorry. I think it will be. But in this Cowboys offense, as good as this Panthers defense is, which I think is going to be the story, it's going to be the Cowboys offense versus the Panthers defense. I think it's going to be a very, very good game for Dallas, and I'm going to have to pick my Cowboys over the Panthers. Moving on to the next game, we got a divisional matchup here. We got the Seattle Seahawks going against the 49ers. Russell Wilson, which came off a big loss to the Minnesota Vikings, and they're looking to beat up on a division rival while the 49ers are coming in. Jimmy G looking good this season. I can't even lie. He's looking pretty decent. So, what are we thinking here, Alex? We going Seahawks or 49ers?
Yeah, so both of those teams played pretty good games last week. 49ers obviously played against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers did, and scored and got his team in a field goal range in like 30 seconds, not even. So, it was just an unfortunate loss. And then, Seattle was up. They were up big heading into the second half, I believe, and then they kind of collapsed. Minnesota scored a bunch of unanswered points, so it was a good game by both teams. Seattle obviously just collapsed, and San Francisco's defense collapsed in the last 30 seconds. But with that said, I'm going to take the 49ers. This team should be 3-0. They are sitting at 2-1, and I think they'll get to 3-1 this week. Like you said, Jimmy G's been playing pretty good. The defense has just been, their defense, that Super Bowl defense. So I'm going to take San Francisco. But I think it'll be another great divisional matchup.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a very, very good game. The 49ers played a really good football game against the Packers. I knew once they left 30 seconds, you don't have a chance. Aaron Rodgers was about to drive down the field and get field goal range. But you knew they played an amazing game that entire game. And Seattle, struggled against a Dalvin Cookless Vikings team. I think when you look at that, you put the pieces together, it really seems like this 49ers team shouldn't have a problem. They definitely look a lot better than they did last season. So I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna pick the 49ers there. Moving on, could be game of the week. I brought up how there could be the 1:00 game with the Browns and Vikings. I think this could be the possible just best game of the week. We got the Cardinals and we got the Rams. Two quarterbacks that are in the MVP conversation. Two receivers that have looked absolutely amazing this season. Two defenses that are very promising. This is going to be this is going to be a good matchup like the Bucs and the Rams last week. It's going to be a very entertaining game to watch. So, Alex, who is coming up on top in this one?
So I do agree. Looking at this game, you would think game of the week, right? But I don't think it's going to be a competition. In all honesty, I'm going to take the Rams, and I'm going to take them big here. Arizona struggled last week against Jacksonville. They barely came away with that one. Kyler Murray, they're just so dependent on him scoring a touchdown. It's like they're just trying to stat pad him. It's getting a little old, and teams are going to start figuring this out, especially the Rams defense. Are you kidding me? They're the best defense in the league. So unless Arizona figures out that they can give the ball in the end zone to one of the running backs and use it efficiently, there's no chance here. I'm going to take the Rams in a big win here. Stafford and Cooper Kupp are just going to be those guys still. Cooper Kupp's probably been the best receiver in football this year, so I'm taking the Rams team and a big win over Arizona.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more of a competition, but I'm going to agree with your pick. I am going to go with the Rams here. I think the Rams, you just beat the Bucks by a good bit. I really think the Rams are going to have a great rest of their season. Just after watching that game, I've any last bit of questioning I've done for this team was dropped and just gotten rid of because I really think this team is going to be great all season. I think the Cardinals are going to be great too, but realistically, I think the Rams are they're going to beat them here. I don't think there's much of a competition here. Moving on, the Steelers and the Packers. Big Ben, who has struggled this season for sure, and Aaron Rodgers, who struggled week 1 and then showed the league I'm actually not as bad as you thought I was, and has turned things around, brought his team to a 2-1 start. So, Alex, what are we thinking here? Are we going Steelers or are we going Packers?
Oh, I'm not taking the Steelers. The Steelers are I don't know. They're like handcuffed to Ben Roethlisberger or something. That was just a huge mistake to keep this guy along. And then add insult to injury. Ben Roethlisberger has stunk this year, and now he's gonna miss Claypool this week. So, Juju has been, he's not really been out there doing very much, and Deontay Johnson's been all right, but he missed last week, so we'll see. But the Steelers' offense is it's just so sad to watch. It's kind of like the Falcons' offense, but with more talent around the quarterback. It's sad to watch the Steelers, attempt to do whatever they call that offense. And you just said Aaron Rodgers shut everybody up the last 2 weeks. We saw him lose big week 1, and then week 2 and week 3, he's like, oh yeah, hi, I'm back. I was MVP, guys, remember? So I don't think there's much of a conversation to go about this one. I'm taking Green Bay here, and another big win.
Yeah, I think if I was to have a lock this week, it would just definitely have to be this one. I watched the Steelers team just really struggle last week against the Bengals. And I watched this Packers team really look good against an amazing team. There really shouldn't be much of a competition here. Aaron Rodgers showing why he is the reigning MVP, showing why he is a top quarterback of all time, and continuing that just great style of play, while Big Ben is just showing decline every season. But I think he really fell off a cliff in this season. It's really showing. I don't think Big Ben in this offense can compete with whatever Aaron Rodgers is about to do. So I'm going to have to pick the Packers here. Moving on, the last game we're going to talk about, got the Ravens and the Broncos. The Broncos remain undefeated, but their opponents are 0-9 in total. So, what does that undefeated record really mean? While this Ravens team, Lamar Jackson, looking better and starting to improve, took a big win over the Chiefs. So, Alex, what are we thinking with this team? Who is going to win this football game?
It's actually tough because I'm not a big fan of this Denver team. Like you said, their opponents have combined to be 0-9. So, but then Baltimore last week, I don't know what happened. They struggled really. There was a big time struggle for them to do much on offense. Against Detroit. And yes, I rate the Detroit team, but that Lions team really shouldn't slow down the Ravens. The Ravens have been a Super Bowl contending team ever since Lamar stepped in and took over the starting quarterback spot. Not sure what's going on with the Ravens. They do have a lot of injuries, but still, didn't expect them to struggle on offense. So this is definitely a tough one. I think this might be, a sneaky game of the week here. I'm going to take the Ravens. Lamar will bounce back, and Teddy Bridgewater will struggle. And I think it's that simple. But I think it'll be a heck of a game and a lot closer than what people think, even though, it's a 3-0 team taking on a 2-1 team. So, but yeah, close game, taking the Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens here for sure. No doubt. I'm going to have to pick the Ravens too. I really love Lamar Jackson, and that is after years of disliking the Ravens and years of disliking Lamar Jackson. I've definitely grown a love for him. And I have learned to support him. I think this Broncos team is going to be a fluke, and we're going to see it. Like I said, 0-9. All their opponents are 0-9 combined. It's just they're not playing entirely hard teams. They're not playing a hard record yet. And I think this is going to be the real show of how good the Broncos are going to be this season. And I don't think they take the win over here over the Ravens. So I'm going to have Baltimore beating the undefeated Denver Broncos. And I think, for my predictions, that would just leave the Rams as the only undefeated team on the season. So that's definitely would be an entertaining week of football on my behalf. With that being said, that's about all the games. We discussed all the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games. We'll have our primetime previews for the Sunday night and Monday night games. And that will come out right before those games start. So, guys, if you enjoyed this video, we appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. If you click the link in our bio, you can find a link to our Instagram. And you can follow us there. We do post our primetime previews there. We're still going to start posting our players of the week there. And possibly our game day picks as a graphic on there so you can see it all in one picture. We appreciate you guys for listening. And I hope you guys have a great week of football.